At 2:47 a.m. on October 20th, 2025, deep in Russia's Orenburg gas plant, a monster pumping 500 million cubic feet of natural gas daily, enough to keep Moscow warm through a brutal winter, a Russian radar operator chugs vodka-laced tea, eyeing a screen flickering like a cheap disco ball. "Just birds in this damn blizzard," he grumbles, oblivious that Ukrainian eyes have been locked on his facility for 112 minutes. In exactly 94 seconds, $300 million of Russia's gas empire will erupt into Ukraine's wildest fireworks show yet, all thanks to a $20,000 drone package cheaper than a rusty pickup in Texas. But how did Ukraine sneak past Russia's vaunted defenses? Of course, from their fatal mistake. Those aren't birds, comrade. A Ukrainian mother drone, the UJ-22 Airborne, is lurking in the 6-inch snowstorm, carrying a trio of FPV Wild Hornets 15-pound killers with 5-pound C4 warheads that can melt 2 feet of concrete at 1,500 degrees. Using AI and a blizzard as cover, Ukraine's turned Russia's winter into its own playground. Russia's $500 million S-400. It's about to be humiliated by scrap metal they laughed at. One fatal Russian mistake lit the fuse for this inferno. Then this happened. 4 hours before the Orenburg plant became the bonfire, a bunker near Kharkiv hummed with purpose. The UJ-22 Airborne, a Ukrainian marvel with a 500-mile range, roared into the sky its Rotax 912 engine. Think the reliable heart of a Cessna, but modified for war, carrying 3 FPV Wild Hornets, 45 pounds of chaos, just under its 44-pound limit. At 124 miles per hour, it hugged the earth at 100 feet, slipping under Russia's radar like a Tesla Model S Plaid, sneaking past a speed trap. Why play hide and seek with a $500 million S-400? Because Ukraine's about to deal a wild card. The Blizzard Phantom tactic was no gamble, it was a masterstroke. Ukrainian AI, crunching NOAA satellite data like Google Maps, plotting a shortcut through a storm, picked a blizzard with 40 miles per hour crosswinds and 6-inch snow to mask thermal and radar signatures. Russia's Nebo-M radar blind to low flyers was about to get outsmarted by a $20,000 drone package. While Moscow dreamed of a cozy winter, Ukraine turned its snow into a startup's secret weapon. With Russia's defenses snoring, the UJ-22's first move was pure checkmate. This wasn't just a drone. It was a ghost in a whiteout, scattering Russia's Nebo-M radar waves like confetti. Operator Viper in Kyiv tweaked the 5 GHz data link hopping frequencies 1/500 times per second to dodge Krasuka 4 jamming. It's the military equivalent of wearing a pair of Sony WH-1000 XM5 noise-canceling headphones. Russia could scream all the static it wanted with its Krasuka 4 jammers, but to the drone it was just a faint whisper. Looking at the other side of the front line, it is not difficult to understand why Russia dares to arrogantly declare this place inviolable. Their defenses looked like a fortress. The Nebo-M radar scanned 370 miles in every direction. Su-35 flankers patrolled above. Panzer S-1 batteries armed with 48 missiles stood ready to swat drones like flies. At the Orenburg command post, Commander Bear, Sip T, smirking at his $500 million S-400 system, confident no drone could breach his winter stronghold. They were betting their security on the military's equivalent of an IBM mainframe, immensely powerful, astronomically expensive, but utterly inflexible against a new kind of threat. The S-400's 92N6E radar could track 300 targets, but it had a blind spot, low-altitude clutter in heavy snow. Russia, smug after years of hyping their unbeatable defenses, hadn't upgraded for sub-200-foot threats in blizzards. Bear muttered, "Nothing gets through this storm unaware." Ukraine was using the snow as a shield. Russia thought their S-400 was a steel wall. Ukraine saw a paper curtain flapping in the wind. At 350 miles into Russia, the UJ-22 reached its first checkpoint. With Russia's radar chasing shadows, Ukraine flipped the board. The mothership's bay snapped open, releasing 1 FPV Wild Hornet. Instead of diving, it climbed to 500 feet, blasting a phantom echo signal mimicking 50 large birds. The S-400's processors, designed to filter natural clutter, choked on the fake data-wasting cycles on non-existent targets. This was the heart of Blizzard Phantom, turned Russia's strength into weakness. The UJ-22, flying below 100 feet, used the snow's chaos to scatter radar waves, while its AI NOAA data ensured it rode the storm's currents. The FPV's frequency-hopping tech laughed off Krasuka-4 jamming, and inertial navigation kept it on course. Ukraine's Edge, a $20,000 drone outsmarting a $500 million system. Russia's radar played whack-a-mole with digital seagulls, while Ukraine's drone waltzed through the storm like a ninja in a whiteout. Russia's radar got played. Can they stop Ukraine's drones? Drop your take. 2:46 a.m., 90 seconds of radio silence began. The plan hit turbulence. The blizzard, once an ally, intensified. The thickening snow began to degrade the UJ-22's GPS signal, causing a 20-foot drift in its navigation. This was the moment Russia counterattacked. The Krasuka-4 unleashed its full power. A 100-mile wide wave of electromagnetic energy washed over the area, specifically targeting the radio frequencies used for drone control. On Viper's screen, the crisp 1080p video feed dissolved into a blizzard of static. The connection was severed. For a normal drone, this is a death sentence. It would either fall from the sky or fly aimlessly until its battery died. But these weren't normal drones. Ukraine's Ace wasn't a radio frequency, it was a chip. Tucked inside both the UJ-22 and its FPV children was a custom 2024 AI guidance processor. The instant the radio link died, the AI chip switched the drone to full inertial navigation. Using a set of solid-state gyroscopes and accelerometers, it continued flying its pre-planned route by calculating every change in velocity and direction. You can jam radio waves, but you can't jam the laws of physics. After 90 agonizing seconds of silence, the UJ-22 cleared the jamming zone. Viper's screen flickered back to life. He had control. But the Russians now knew exactly where the jamming was focused. Bear, realizing he'd been tricked, ordered his Panzer S-1 batteries to fire blind at the last known position of the decoy. The real game was about to begin. And it was time to release the hounds. At 10 miles out, the UJ-22 unleashed its final gambit. 2 FPV Wild Hornets split paths like a magician's trick. One decoy rocketed to 500 feet, blasting phantom echoes to flood Russia's S-400 with fake targets, a digital smokescreen clogging its $500 million circuits. The other, the killer, dove to 20 feet, its 5-pound C4 warhead locked on the 800-foot silo stuffed with 1 million pounds of methane. Russia's defenses stirred, but the clock was ticking too fast. The Panzer S-1's 30mm cannons roared, spitting 5,000 rounds per minute into the blizzard, a desperate hailstorm of lead. Viper's 1080p feed shrank the world to glowing pixels. He wasn't flying, he was the drone, his thumb flicking it into a violent corkscrew, G-forces blurring the screen like a roller coaster drop. The Panzer crew, blind in the whiteout, sprayed wildly at ghost sounds, their panic as useless as shouting at fog. Target acquired. Viper whispered, pulse racing. The silo loomed. Bear's scream crackled. It's under the snow. Impossible. Russia's radar, choked by the storm, swung its $500 million hammer at nothing. How ironic. While Moscow played whack-a-mole with shadows, Ukraine's drone sneaked in like a thief stealing Putin's lunch. 43 seconds to impact. Can Russia stop a drone they can't even see? The final 43 seconds ticked down like a Wall Street trading clock on Black Friday, each moment a high-stakes bet in Ukraine's deadly endgame. Viper's screen in Kyiv glowed with the 800-foot Orenburg silo, a steel colossus packed with 1 million pounds of compressed methane, Russia's energy lifeline, the heart of a $1 trillion gas empire. The Panzer S-1 batteries roared, unleashing 5,000 rounds per minute, their tracers slicing through the blizzard. But Russia's fatal blunder, ignoring low-altitude drones and heavy snow, left their defenses flailing. Commander Bear gripped his radio in the Orenburg command post, his face ashen. It's below the radar, it can't be. His $500 million S-400. Triumph, built to swat F-35s, was choking on a 15-pound FPV Wild Hornet streaking at 120 miles per hour. Its algorithms, designed for jets, couldn't parse a hummingbird-sized target jinking through a whiteout. Viper, 400 miles away, leaned into his console, heart pounding. "Fly, you beautiful bastard," he whispered, as the UJ-22 Airborne hovering 10 miles out like a SpaceX Falcon 9. Orchestrating payloads relayed a 5 GHz signal that laughed off Russia's Krasuka-4 jamming. Russia's vaunted fortress was about to get a budget haircut courtesy of a $20,000 drone package. The Panzer operators, sweating like day traders in a market crash, cranked their turrets at 100 degrees per second, spraying 30mm rounds into the blizzard. But the FPV Wild Hornet Agile as a Porsche 911 Turbo S made their cannons useless. The UJ-22's AI crunching no AA storm data cloaked the drone in the whiteout's chaos. Russia's S-400 screens flickered with phantom echoes from decoy FPVs, its processors choking. Bear's voice broke over the radio manual targeting. Now too late, comrade. Ukraine's $20,000 hustle turned Russia's winter into a liability, outsmarting their bloated defense budget like a startup crushing a dinosaur corporation. 30 seconds to impact. Viper's thumbs danced on the controls, making micro-corrections to counter 40 miles per hour crosswinds. The drone's inertial navigation, think Tesla autopilot, recalculating in a traffic jam, relied on solid-state gyros, untouchable by Russia's jamming. The Pantsir's fire control system, rated for 80 targets per second, was still chasing ghosts from the first decoy dropped. 20 seconds. Bear slammed his fist on the console vodka bottle, teetering. His S-400, worth more than a fleet of Bugattis, was drowning in fake radar signatures, 50 digital birds clogging its circuits. The attack drone, flying 20 feet off the deck, used the snow's clutter. Viper's screen showed the silo looming a glowing target in 1080p, unscrambled by frequency-hopping tech that danced around Krasuka 4. 10 seconds. Viper flicked the arming switch.
Go time!
He growled, knuckles white. The drone's AI locked the 5-pound C4 warhead onto the silo's weakest seam. The screen shook as the drone screamed through the final 100 feet, dodging a final burst of tracers like a Formula One car threading a chicane. 0. Impact. A white flash consumed the screen, followed by an earth-shattering roar that drowned out everything, a Wagnerian crescendo of destruction. This wasn't just an explosion. It was a physics masterclass with an economics twist. The 5-pound C4-shaped charge, like a Tesla Model S Plaid's powertrain compressed into a copper cone, unleashed 500 foot-pounds of kinetic fury. The Monroe effect focused a molten jet at 25,000 feet per second, slicing 2 feet of reinforced concrete in 0.1 seconds like a Zeiss lens burning through paper with sunlight. At 1,500 degrees, it ignited the methane, triggering a 2,000 psi shockwave that obliterated 80% of the silo's structure in milliseconds. The chain reaction was merciless. 3 adjacent silos erupted flames, soaring 1,000 feet, gas burning across 2 miles like an overclocked NVIDIA RTX 4090 rendering Armageddon. Humor, Russia wanted a cozy winter. Ukraine delivered a Hellfire startup pitch, no venture capital required, just a side of roasted Russian ego. Bear was thrown from his chair, his vodka bottle shattering as alarms screamed. The $500 million S-400, outsmarted by a $20,000 drone, was as useless as a dial-up modem in a Zoom call. The Orenburg plant, Russia's gas crown jewel, was gutted, flames raging for 3 days. Economic impact: 40% of Kazakhstan's gas output, 200 million cubic feet daily, vanished overnight, cratering Russia's $1 trillion energy market. The ROI was obscene. A $20,000 drone torched infrastructure worth 15,000 times its cost, forcing industrial shutdowns and export cuts. Moscow's heating grid, already stretched, faced a 20% ration cut, leaving citizens shivering like a startup after a failed Series A round. The opportunity cost billions in lost revenue as Russia's gas exports to Europe and Asia tanked, but the blow that Ukraine dealt to Russia did not stop there. Putin's unbreakable regime cracked like cheap plastic. Protests erupted in Moscow over cold apartments, with citizens chanting for accountability. Allies like Kazakhstan, furious at the supply chain hit, questioned Russia's reliability, while Ukraine's scrappy brilliance earned NATO's applause and aid pledges. Putin's propaganda machine sputtered, unable to spin the loss of a secure facility. The attack slashed Russia's Donbas offensives by 15% as fuel shortages grounded tanks and starved artillery. Ukraine gained weeks to regroup, turning Russia's logistical artery into a severed vein like Amazon's supply chain crashing during Prime Day. The strike shifted the battlefield's momentum, giving Ukraine a strategic edge. Russian troops whispered of ghost drones, their morale crumbling like a knockoff iPhone battery. Ukraine's operators, meanwhile, toasted their Apple-like ecosystem of ingenuity, proving brains beat brawn. The strike wasn't just a hit. It was a mindset shift, cementing Ukraine's reputation as a tech-driven David against Russia's Goliath. From a bunker 400 miles away, Ukraine's tech nerds bankrupted Russia's winter dreams with a drone you could mod from eBay parts. The Orenburg gas plant, Russia's $500 million energy nerve center, was reduced to rubble in under a minute. General Winter sacked by a Ukrainian strike team running on brains and precision. Russia's vaunted defenses worth billions got outsmarted by a budget drone and AI wizardry like a Ferrari smoked by a souped-up Civic in a street race. This wasn't just a strike, it was a strategic gut punch. Russia's drone assembly lines frozen, their missile production crippled for months, their confidence shattered into 1,000 pieces, and Ukraine already planning the next blow. What's Ukraine's next game changer, a fuel depot in flames or a command bunker in chaos? Drop your boldest predictions in the comments. I'm reading the sharpest ones for our next video.